Hey Deckers, I've got a couple of awesome products to have a look at for you today. The UGREEN 65 watt and the UGREEN 160 watt Nexode Pro chargers. Huge thanks to UGREEN for sending these over and sponsoring the video so that we could watch this ad free. First up, the 65 watt version. This is around $56 or £50 with a total output of 65 watts, but with the USB-A capped at 22.5 watts. And then its big brother, the 160 watt beast, with 140 watts on the USB-C 1, 100 watts on USB-C 2, 30 watts capped on USB-C 3, and 22.5 on USB 4, coming in at around $120 and around £98. So let's have a look at what these actually mean when we're charging Steam Deck or other handhelds, and what the actual output of these are. Starting with the 65 watt model, as you would expect, as the Steam Deck expects around 45 watts on the charger, we have no problem charging this full speed, so around 21 minutes for a 12% charge. But if we plug a phone in, once again, as we'd expect, as it's a 65 watt, we may just dip under that 45 watt requirement. Once that charge time is balanced out, we see it's only extended that charge time by a couple of minutes with a phone in the same charger as well. So let's have a look at what the actual output is with a power bank that actually tells me the input. Obviously this has a max input of 100 watts. But obviously there is still some loss on the cabling, and also just because nothing manages 100 watts in its perfect environment. So you can see that we were expecting 45 watts on the Steam Deck, but we're getting around 42 with a phone plugged in. So not too bad on that front. So you're going to be able to charge both of those at a pretty much full rate. And if we take the phone back out, we'll see that the 65 watt output, once it settles down a little bit, is putting out around 56 to 57 watts. Now, obviously this massively depends on the cables that you use. So if you are worried about the power output of the cables that you've got, do also check out the UGREEN cables. They have 100 watt, 140 watt and data transfer cables as well. So well worth taking a look. It is also worth noting that the power output is changed depending on what is plugged in, rather than whether there is something on the other end or not. So you can see that once I've plugged in another cable, even though I've got nothing actually plugged into the end of it, it does still divide up that wattage. So bear that in mind when you are looking for those full charge, to make sure you unplug what you're not actually using. Okay, let's have a look at the big brother version, the 160 watt. Now this is a beast. I do absolutely love this charger. Once again, with the Steam Deck plugged in, because we know that we're going to get that 45 watts easy, I'm going to also plug in the power bank. So we'd be expecting that 160 watt to be divided across the two here, so up to 100 watts and 45 watts on the Steam Deck. You can see we're getting that full charge on the Steam Deck as we'd expect, and around 58 watts into the power bank. So it does seem to divide up that 140 and the 100 watts a little bit differently with the two devices plugged in, so you're not going to get the full charge there. But what was interesting is when I did put in a third device, I actually got slightly higher output on that 100 watt input, so it did seem to balance it out a little more. And once again, the Steam Deck only dropped just a tiny bit here. So 160 watt charger, able to charge the Steam Deck, a power bank at 60 watts, and a phone all at full speed with no issues. If I unplug the Steam Deck and just keep the phone in, you see that the power bank gets around 95, and this really does massively depend on the cables, so do choose those wisely. And if I put the Steam Deck in the segmented section, which is that USB-C capped at 30 watts, see that we do get a slightly extended charge time, but we don't have any of that issue with the power bank still drawing nearly 100 watts. If we put the power bank in the capped 30 watt input, see that we're getting around 28.5, so definitely a lot better on those lower inputs on that loss, and we'll see that we get the full speed back on the Steam Deck as well. If you are looking to charge two high power devices, or you want 100 watts while charging other devices as well, for a turbo mode for example, or for fast charge across three devices, then the 160 watt charger is definitely the one for you. There is a slim version coming of the 65 watt, which I hope to get my hands on soon, which will be very handy for those on the move. Let us know in the comments below if you're going to be picking either of these ones up. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.